What is going on, fellow investors? I thought I'd do a fun, engaging video. In front of me, I have a list of all the stocks that I have. I have a list of the averages for every single one of these stocks. So you guys are going to know very shortly if you've got a better or worse average than me on these stocks. And more importantly, the focus point of the video is how long do I intend on holding all these stocks for? You see, I have all these positions, but what's my time horizon? What am I working with? When would I sell out? And why would I sell out? So the first category is 10-year plus hold. And just understand, guys, this is not personal advice, financial advice. This is just my opinions tailored to me. So the first category is your 10-year plus hold. This is the elite category. This is where all my long-term stocks go into there. And these are stocks I'm bullish on long-term. And I'll probably still be holding when I'm old and grey. And maybe, who knows, when I'm eventually in the grave, I would probably still be holding these stocks and it'll be ticking in the background. So I'm very bullish on all of these stocks. And the first one, I'll let you guys have a guess. It begins with H and it finishes with the letter S. Let me know in the comments if you know the answer. Of course, it's Hims. GG's to everyone who guessed that. Hims is the first one on that list. Then I've got Meta, then I've got Microsoft, I've got AMD, I've got Grab, and then I've got Google. And the only time I would sell out of these stocks is if the fundamentals or the financials seriously worsen. But for me, these are long-term CAGR holds. I'm holding these for a very, very long time with a long multi-decade time horizon. And the golden question, what is my average? So averages do really vary. And just a quick disclaimer, a lot of these stocks I've bought, sold out in the past, but this is what I'm currently holding right here, right now, today. Hims is $19.89, a little bit better than what I actually initially thought, but I have been averaging up since $15 a share. And I think, again, no financial advice. I think this should be a $50, $60 stock right here, right now. Please don't ask me what's a good price to be getting in. I've just told you, I think personally, whether you agree or disagree, it's up to you. I think it's a $50, $60 stock today. It's $28 at the time of filming. So $19.89 is my average. I've got Meta at $591.02 a share. Microsoft at exactly $389. AMD at $187.11 a share. That is another stock I've been aggressively averaging up on when it was around $200 a share. Grab. Nah, this is actually not funny, right? I've owned Grab since November and I've only seen three, yes, you heard me, 3 green days in this stock, maybe 4 actually, where the share price has actually been above my average. And you know, the crazy thing is, even though it's my worst performing stock in my entire portfolio and I'm down 21% on this position, I actually look at this and I smile because as humorous as it is that I'm down, and come on, we've all got to have a laugh. Sometimes it's funny when you're down. You're looking and you're thinking, you've got nothing but, sorrow, and, you can only laugh in times of pain sometimes. But I actually still think I've got a really good deal on this stock. I think the markets are wrong, and I think it might take a few years, but the markets will eventually realise they're wrong. I'm down 21%, but I still think I've got a hell of a good average long term, and that's $4.23. And I am holding this for 10 years because I just like the concept of the business. And then the last stock is my newest position stock in my portfolio, and that's Google at exactly $330 a share. So in this category is Hims, Meta, Microsoft, AMD, Grab, and Google. And we go on to the second category, which is your 5-year hold stocks. This is your midterm. This is not too long, not too short, relatively good time horizon. And this is Broadcom and Nvidia. Broadcom, my average is $325.11, and Nvidia is $172.21 a share. So 5-year hold maybe could be as soon as 3 years, but generally I've got a mid to long term time horizon on these stocks. And again, wouldn't really look at selling anytime soon. I do think semiconductor demands are good, especially with Broadcom recently with their deals with OpenAI, Anthropics, that big deal with AMD, and more specifically Apple more recently. So do like those stocks a lot. And yeah, going on to my third category, this is more shorter term, long term, 2 to 3 year holds. And these is what has to be evaluated sort of every several months, these stocks. And so the first is Marvell. I got into Marvell in January, February. My average was about $73 of entry. I have averaged up a little bit, and my average right now is $80.04. So I'm up over 150%, even though the stock is down over, almost 100% since its relative all-time highs at around 330. Really like Marvell. I like Celestial AI acquisition. I like the ability of photonics. Been very vocal on it since January. Well done to anyone who got in. Celsius is $29.67 a share. Another business I think is somewhat undervalued. PEG ratio is 0.3. Forward to earnings is 15. 8.5% majority partnership stake that Pepsi has will help him with international global expansion. And obviously very good acquisition revenues from the likes of Rockstar, but more specifically Alani Nu. Like this business, I actually think this could probably be a $80 business in the next 2 to 3 years. And Marvel, I'm thinking maybe 600. So yeah, 2 to 3 year hold. Not something I'll be holding a lifetime, but it's definitely something that I'm buying because I think it's good fundamentals, good financials, but I also think it's at a very good lucrative value for any sort of shorter, longer term investors. And that goes on to my third stock, which is CoreWeave, a stock I've actually been averaging up, believe it or not, and now the stock's gone down, so I've actually sort of averaged up and the stock's gone below my average. My exact average is $79.98 a share, basically $80. Really like them. They've just tested the Vera Rubin NVL72s from Nvidia. So Nvidia's got like the H200, 300 Blackwells, and then they've just got the new Vera Rubins, which are incredibly well. So obviously CoreWeave get first dibs on that, and they also test it out on the behalf of Nvidia as well through their partnership. So really like this business long term, and I think they're going to be profitable. Is it 2028? Is it $3.27 EPS? But yeah, really like this business. Again, it's all very speculative. It depends on your risk appetite, depends on where you see data centers and AI in the future. But if you want a little bit of high risk, high reward stocks that can actually turn out to be really good in the future, if management executes, demand stays there, I think CoreWeave's a good one. Then we've got Micron, $288.96 a share. I got in on November at around $200 a share when we had the whole Michael Burry AI bubble concerns. And then I re-entered, I kept my position, it was about $210, I believe, at the time. And then I averaged up during the Iran conflict when we saw Micron go right down from about $500 to about $330 in April. So I was averaging up. I'm sitting on about $288. And yeah, I'm holding it 2 to 3 years. It's not something I'll be holding multi-decade. But I was looking at Sanjay's earnings call, and he was saying, demand is there till at least 2029, 2030. We know memory's fully booked out till Q1 of 2028. I don't think it's secular, and I don't think it's cyclical anymore. I know it has been in the past, memory, but I think just because it's been that in the past doesn't necessarily mean it will be that going forward. The business is broadening and it is diversifying. The Japanese government is literally paying Micron money to build facilities in Japan. Demand is there, supply is not, and it's going to stay like that for many, many years to come. So far, it's $16.17. We've got their earnings very soon. I think it's going to be a good earnings. And yeah, just really bullish on SoFi. Again, not something I would be holding for decades. I think if you're looking at a fintech long term, I would maybe argue saying Robinhood's probably a better player. But if you're looking at a stock that's undervalued, that could benefit from the whole Clarity Act, crypto, SoFi USD through its partnership with Solana, and Galileo and all these other aspects that SoFi have, I think SoFi could be a good value investment. Would I be holding it for a lifetime? Absolutely not. But I think it's a good 2, 3, maybe even a 5-year hold. And then we've got my 1 year or less. These are more my short-term swing trades. These are stocks that I've bought. I'm buying it just because I think they're good valuations. I like the fundamentals currently, but it's not something I want to be holding a lifetime. That is, first of all, is Applied Digital. Probably should have sold out when it was $50 a share, but they do have their earnings tomorrow, and I'm quite bullish for their earnings. No financial advice, but very bullish with what's going on with Polaris 1 and 2 and Delta Forge 1 and 2. My average is $25.11, but I have actually entered and exited Applied Digital a lot. My initial average entry was actually about $14 on this stock, but I bought, sold. Probably should have sold at $50, $49, $50 a few months ago. But yeah, I'm probably going to sell that and just double down on CoreWeave because I only really need one data center stock, not two. And I used to have IREN as well, making it 3. The second is Ondas. My average is $7.72. Again, like the stock, could be a very good long-term player. I'm looking at it more as a 6 to 12 month hold. See if we can test resistance at $12.50, 13. But I do think it does have good potential to be a long-term hold. And then the most newest and smallest position recently I entered was ServiceNow, and that was $96.11 a share. That's my net collective average. And again, I'm probably be exiting that in a few weeks if we see ServiceNow hit 112 again. It's just very small margins with these stocks that I'm working with. But yeah, they're my holds, my long-term holds, 10 years plus, HIMS, Meta, Microsoft, AMD, Grab. 5 years is Broadcom, Nvidia. 2 to 3 years is Marvell, Celsius, CoreWeave, Micron, and SoFi. And obviously 1 year or less is Ondas, ServiceNow, Applied Digital. As for my pie charts, obviously I'm just holding them for as long as I see fit. Yeah, we've got Limbo, Retired by 2040, AI Revolution. All of those are up 100% plus. And then my most recent one on Trading 212. Do let me know in the comments how much you guys are up on that. I don't think anyone's in the red, even though the markets are down. I'm up 6.1%. But if you did get in just after I did, when I reweighted the portfolio, I believe you guys should be up about 6.4, 6.5% on that pie chart. So I'll be holding that for now. As always, thank you very much. No financial advice. Kindly give a like.